How do you think, Tom, for someone that's looking at getting started with let's keep using that term, future focused investing, what should they be thinking about?
Yeah, I mean that's a great question, and I think for people it's really about thinking about what it is that they want out of investing, just like any other decision that they make in life. Any other purchase that they're going to make, any other person that they're going to go and seek advice from. It's about really understanding what that motivation is at the outset, and I think that will become the very quick guide into kind of what decisions that people can make. That can start generally at a space of going, do I want advice or do I want to do this myself? If I want to do this myself, then there are products out there, such as Goodman's, for example, which they can use. If they want advice, then it's about finding an appropriate financial advisor or appropriate platform that will provide that level of advice. Once you've got to that next level after that, it's then about deciding, well, what are the things, as we've just spoken about, what are the things that I'm really passionate about? And I think passion can come in two forms when we talk about responsible investing to start with. One is, what are the things that I want to see better in the world? What are the issues that I care about? What are the areas that I want to see improving? And what are the areas that I personally understand and that I back? So, for example, renewable energy. I believe in the future of renewable energy as a really important part to securing the future of our planet. But I also think it's a really strong growth industry because I see that renewable energy as an area where traditional energy supply might be a dying industry, so I want to invest in the future, which is why we think about responsibility and sustainable investing in those kind of very future terms. And then the second piece of that is equally passionate for a lot of people, as again, Ben, you just said, is what are those things that people want to avoid? Traditionally, people have talked about this as kind of sin stocks or screening out investments. But it really does come down to that passion, and that passion is often very individual based on possibly some personal experiences. Personal experiences, for example, with alcohol, with pharmaceuticals, for example, they're very, very personal. And then there's also these kind of big, kind of well understood issues that have been going on for a really long time and are kind of ingrained in people's personalities and upbringing, things around animal treatment, avoidance of fur, nuclear energy and nuclear armament, really big issues. And then, probably a more kind of prevalent one in today's world, which is a very tricky one in Australian society, is fossil fuels. Obviously the Australian economy for a number of years has been based on the development of fossil fuels and the export of those things. It's done the country very well, but we're definitely seeing a shift at a global level and at an Australian level of going, actually, I no longer want to support that. I believe it does too much detriment to the planet, and it's not a future business where my wealth is going to continue to grow. So I think it's, to boil that down into kind of two distinct stages, it's how do I want to approach this? And once I approach this, what are the things that I care about? After that, it becomes about finding those investments, as you would typically, of going, well, where do I think there's going to be strong performance? Again, this comes down to kind of levels of kind of how much research you want to do, how much expertise that you have. And it could just be going, you know what, I've heard of that company, I really love it, I'm going to back it. Or it could be getting down into the fundamentals of going, is this company a good buy today because it's undervalued? Again, that's horses for courses.
Yes, and I think that it's one of the things where it's sometimes not as clear as it could what the options